Disney has done one thing, and that continues just to be like gold, and that's their use of Darth Vader. In the George Lucas era, when Darth Vader showed up in something, it's like it's like me coming home from class.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, what's up, bro?
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing special. like, like you see me every day. Darth Vader in the George Lucas era was in everything. If it was a comic, the overarching villain's always Darth Vader shaking his fist, curse you, rebel scum.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it was like a Star Wars comedy, they were working on one called Star Wars Detours. There was infamously Robot Chicken, Family Guy, and all three of those things. Darth Vader was like the butt of like all the jokes. So not only that, they were able to like make jokes about him too, which is all fun and fair, but they were actively doing this. Whereas with the Disney era, there's been little to zero parodies. There hasn't been another Family Guy special since, obviously, because that's kind of against Disney brand. There's been no Robot Chicken. There's kind of been like no parody, let alone of Darth Vader. But then also, when Darth Vader has shown up and stuff, it's been electric. Probably the most iconic Vader scene of all time now, besides No, I'm Your Father, Vader in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Is this the first time he shows
amazing.
up in Disney? With Disney?
Rebels, I think. Yes, Rebels would have been the first.
Okay.
And then, seriously, I think it was the premiere of Rebels, he shows up. Then Rogue One, and then the finale of Rebels. That's like the timeline.
Okay.
And when he shows up at the beginning of Rebels and he destroys the entire Rebel fleet, something they took the entire season 1 to amass, and he defeats Ezra and Kanan, your two main characters, certified beast.
Yeah.
Then he shows up at the end of season 2, kills Ahsoka, who's a beloved character for 5 years of Clone Wars, and she's the biggest, strongest character the Rebels crew now has. Destroys her.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi Fallen Order, another game people loved. Vader shows up at the end. Electric. That was like the viral scene for like that entire month. That you couldn't go on YouTube without seeing like a thumbnail of somebody going reacting just to how sick it was.
That's a thumbnail right there.
That could be a clip thumbnail. And then Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, I thought it was like pretty unanimously well liked. There's a sect of people online that dislike that show.
Sure. I can understand why.
Not an ounce of anybody dislikes the Vader stuff.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, he shouldn't have lost the final fight. Okay, maybe, but for narrative structure, he obviously has to. He is a beast in that show. He shows up at the end of Clone Wars.
Yes.
Last cold shot of him off.
So cool.
And there's probably another example or two I haven't even thought of. Every time he shows up in something, it is perfect. They gave him a castle. That's in the Disney era on Mustafar.
Yeah,
that is sick.
His scene with Krennic, in Rogue One is unbelievable as well. You know, don't choke in your aspirations.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So clean, so perfect. I don't know why I was stuck on this point. I think it's, again, to your point, how well Disney has done with Vader and keeping him a beast, keeping him a baller like he is.
Yeah.
I think Family Guy is owned by Fox, so I feel like if any place could do a parody, which is crazy, it's just adding to Disney and all the things that they own. I guess it would only be Family Guy that could parody Vader. I'm trying to think of any other.
Yeah.
No, but they haven't. So obviously they have a say in that. Hey, this is how we want to portray this guy moving forward. Yeah. And then he even had. Did he have any appearance like a flash? I know he was mentioned and his voice was used in the sequels, but were there any flashbacks of him?
No flashbacks. Yeah, the voice of Anakin was used in Episode 9 at the Battle of Exegol to Rey. And then you just see his helmet. Okay. His helmet was shown in Episode 7. It's like the charred up, burnt version from Endor when Luke burns his body. You see that in 7, and Kylo Ren's talking to it. Yeah. And that's cold. Like, that's so cool to me. That, like, although the dude's been dead for 30 years, he still has a presence. Mm-hmm. And, like, that's, like, And then once Kylo Ren leaves, that he'll finish. I will finish what you started. And then he leaves, and they pan to Vader's helmet, and they play Vader's music. That's super cool. Then they show the helmet again in Episode 9.
That's awesome.
And Kylo Ren's like office. So cool! It's so cool.
That's a flex. Imagine that. Oh yeah. Oh that.
Oh, this whole thing.
And
That's my grandfather.
I remember watching Obi-Wan with you over the summer, and to add to Vader's lore and legacy, there's a certain scene where he's with the Grand Inquisitor and they're on the ship, and we replayed that scene over and over and over again, and we played it in different languages.
Yes.
And the Grand Inquisitor sounds like a little biatch in like half of those freaking languages. Like, he sounds very cool in English. Bro, you sound like a loser. Yeah. Vader sounded like a beast in every single language.